And a pleasant good evening to you and to yours, and welcome back to the Brevard Sports Network. It is a big night tonight for Brevard County. Well, on the downside, it could be a bad night for Brevard County, but we won't discuss that until later. Tonight, the Viera Hawks are looking to tie up the Martin County Tigers in Game 2 of their 6A-2 regional semifinal. Right now, Merritt Island is down in Miami playing Balen Jesuit. And Martin County last night picked up a win with late inning heroics, not seventh inning, but late inning heroics last night, scoring 3 runs in the latter stages of the game last night to pick up the win and the Game 1 victory. Pretty much the same lineup tonight, as we'll go through it for you. Leading off is going to be Kamai Purse. Batting second will be Will Perry. Batting third, Zane Moody. Batting fourth, Dalton French. On the bump tonight for Viera is Blaine Werkheiser. We'll give you his stats in a second. Werkheiser's first pitch, strike one. And Werkheiser hits the corner. Werkheiser so far this season, after this pitch, outside ball one. Werkheiser 3-1 with a 3.32 ERA. 46 in the third innings pitched. That's the second most on the staff. 27 hits, 22 earned runs, 12 walks, 44 strikeouts. The 1-1 on its way to Purse is drilled into left field. Aiden Cameron out there, and Cameron hauls the line drive in for out number 1. That's a good time to tell you who's in field, who's playing the field for the Viera Hawks tonight. It's Aiden Cameron in left field. In center field tonight is the freshman Carter Lee. Lee out there for Dom Leone, who's got the knee brace on. He's DHing tonight. Zach Alarashi in right. Jay Fowler at third. Brody Vogel at short. Trey Slavic at second. And last night's starter, Brennan Confreda, at first. Behind the dish tonight is Werkheiser's battery mate, the sophomore sensation, Brady Jensen. 1-0 to Will Perry. Perry drives this one. Carter lead with a bead and a catch. 2 outs. Zane Moody will now step in. Moody this season, 377. 7 doubles, 4 triples for Moody. And Zane with a good night last night, that's for sure. Moody had the walk and scored in the 7th inning. Actually, it was the 7th inning. I'm looking at the score sheet. My bad. Moody tripled last night as well. We all right?
We're good.
Okay. Chopper, tough play. Slavic's got to hurry. And the tie goes to the runner. The umpires in the stands won't like it, but it's an infield hit for Moody. Dalton French steps to the plate. French last night singled, grounded out twice, and struck out. It was his single that scored Zane Moody on the triple last night. So nice try by Slavic, though. Werkheiser now with a runner aboard. First pitch offering, corner strike, strike one. Martin County with a big win last night. 5-2 inside, ball one. Currently, Balin Jesuit leads Merritt Island 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. That is a chopper scoop by Vogel. Couldn't get it out, but then does make the play, running across the diamond. Vogel first in the dugout after the charging put out. So 1 hit, no runs, 1 stranded. 4 batters come up in the inning, and we'll head to the bottom of the first. Martin County, nothing. Viera coming to bat. All right, welcome back on the mound tonight for Martin County. I had the privilege to meet this young man last night. Enjoyed my conversation with him. Cody Bennon last night was up here with the radar gun, and good kid, and looking forward to watching him pitch tonight. So far this season, Bennon is 6-1 with a 2.33 ERA. In 51 innings pitched, he's allowed 38 hits, 19 runs, 17 of them earned. He's allowed 29 walks, 56 strikeouts, and teams are batting just 201 against him this year. And he'll face Brody Vogel, Aiden Cameron, Brady Jensen, Zach Alarashi, Dom Leone, Carter Lee, Jay Fowler, Brennan Confreda, and Trey Slavic. Let's take you around the infield and the outfield for the Martin County Tigers. From left to right, it'll be Tanner Paskowski. Out in left field in center, Stone Preston, who threw an absolute dart from the base of the wall last night. Will Perry over in right field. The third baseman tonight is Frankie Brancaleone. At shortstop is Kamai Purse. Over at second base, Michael Sanchez. The first baseman tonight is Dalton French. And Bennon's battery mate behind the plate is Zane Moody. As we get set to start here, Brody Vogel steps in. Vogel last night struck out twice and grounded out twice. So a rare collar for Vogel last night. You don't often see that from Brody, who came into last night's game batting .370. Bennett's first pitch right there on the corner, low 90s fastball, 0-1. Outside, 1-1. Glad you could be with us here tonight. Happy to have you. Want to thank Clip and Cut, serving Brevard since 1997. Balin Jesuit has now taken a 2-0 lead over Merritt Island. 2-1 for Bennett. Kicks and fires. Fouls this poor catcher. He caught one last night. I mean, he dropped like a rock in the water, and he just took one off the hand. This guy's like, geez, come on, man. Cut me some slack. 2-2. And Bennon's not helping him. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You know, I mean, catchers could go. I'm a big hockey guy, right? So catchers could go to like what NHL goalies are doing now, and that's putting equipment on like 6 times the size of their bodies.
Yeah.
The 3-2. Chopper, slow chopper, down to third. Tough play across the diamond. Absolutely. What a play by Brancaleone. And, wow. 1 out. That's the thing Martin County did better last night. I wouldn't say better. I would say they did on every occasion last night was fielded the ball. Whether it was a shot in the gap or a play like that, they made the play. And Aiden Cameron steps in. One and one, or 0-2. I'm sorry, 0-2. 0-2. Fouled back to the screen. Hey, be careful, right? Because the reason nobody can sit here is because there's holes in the screen. And so be on the lookout if a ball comes back. I'll let you know. Chopper to the second baseman, backhanded. This is definitely a tough play. He will not get Aiden Cameron, who has an infield base hit. So that'll bring up Brady Jensen, the catcher. Jensen with a big game on Saturday, double and a triple in that game. Jensen struck out, and he hit a nice triple last night and a single. 2 hits last night in the game, or double in the single, I should say. Let me double check that. Jensen last night. No, he reached on an error. My apologies. An error, a single, and a strikeout. 1-0. Cameron. Hard ground ball through to right field. Cameron will stop at second, and Viera Hawks with 2 on and 2 out here. Nice piece of hitting by Jensen, who just slaps it the other way, going with the pitch instead of trying to pull it. And that brings up the left-handed hitter, Zach Alarashi. And Zach has had a phenomenal second half of the season for the Hawks. Alarashi in total this year, batting .329. Alarashi with a home run. That's a 2-run shot that won it against Vero Beach back to end the season. A triple and 3 doubles. He's got 11 RBIs and 28 hits this year for skipper Matt Gifford. So 2 hits for Viera here, but 2 outs. We saw some runs scored last night by both teams with 2 outs. The pitch. Upstairs, ball 1, 1-0. Alarashi rocking the bat, the pitch, and that is definitely a strike. 1-1. So I would say, first inning impression of the umpire is he has established that corner strike tonight.
Yes.
We'll see where it's at in the 5th inning. 1-1. And there's a ground ball that gets through to left field. Don't know if it's enough to score Cameron. It's not. And 3 straight singles, and the Hawks are in business with Dominic Leone at the plate. So bases loaded, 2 outs here. And Dom Leone steps in. Leone singled, doubled, and struck out last night. And he's DHing tonight. Everywhere you look is a Hawk. That's probably Bradley Mishak out there at second. I did not, or Luca Bongiovi. Pinch running for Brady Jensen. Base hit definitely scores 1. The pitch, strike 1 to Dom. Big early inning situation for the Viera Hawks. This is Martin County's ace. And if you can plate a couple of runs here with 2 outs, as scoreboard says it is 1 out. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got the second out. I'm going to get with it. And he hits Dominic Leone, and he walks in a run. And that is 1-0 Viera as Aiden Cameron touches up. Still just 1 out. Yeah, I don't know where I got the second out at. But that'll bring up Carter Lee. So the Hawks now, and this young freshman, well, you've heard me brag on him. He has done nothing but impressed. Lee will look at a knee-high strike. One out, bases still loaded. Following the HBP to Dom Leone, Jay Fowler on deck. 3 hits in the inning, 4 if you count the one in Leone's back. And that is fouled off. I mean, that's not really a hit, but he got hit.
Yeah, hey.
I think it ain't. I think if you get hit by a pitch, you should be credited with a hit. What do you think?
Yeah.
0-2 to Carter.
Look, I'm sure there's a lot of MLB pitchers that'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Or batters.
I tell you what, that's a good piece of hitting by Lee right there, who wasn't going to do anything with that pitch, but what he just did with it and fouling it off. But I got to be honest with you and tell you that I really believe that right here, I got it. Yeah, I appreciate you. I found it. And there is a long fly ball back to right field, over the right fielder's head, off the wall. 2 runs will score, and Carter Lee with a double, and the Hawks plate 2, and the freshman absolutely continues to destroy varsity baseball.
You want to talk about Hawks needing something to get this one going early for them. That's what they needed, and that's what Lee just did.
He got, I'll tell you, I was going to say what he did with that previous pitch was he wasn't going to hit it, but he needed to make contact and foul it off, which is exactly what he did. And Dominic Leone is at third, and Carter Lee is at second. And this young man, I mean, my goodness. Sue watching. Sue from, I met Miss Sue.
Okay.
Yeah, I met Miss Sue. You weren't here, but I met Miss Sue. She's from Pittsburgh, part of the Jensen family. And I believe Caden and Brady's aunt. Nice lady. I tell you what, being from Pittsburgh, right? Being from Pittsburgh, I tell you what, it was all good. Husband, phenomenal guy. I don't say that often.
I would say, I'm like, do you hold the fact she's from Pittsburgh?
No, I don't. Not at all. There will be no terrible towel in my house.
Of course not.
Or a Penguins replica Stanley Cup. But, they're great people. The Jensens and Miss Sue and her husband. It was an honor to meet them. Second and third, still just 1 out here for Jay Fowler. Following the mound visit, first pitch is in the dirt. And I'll tell you what, Cody Bennon is struggling, 6-1. And after talking to him last night, he was amped up for this start tonight. He really was. 1-0 outside, 2-0. The problem is that, a lot of times at the high school level, these kids, they're nervous for games like this. He sees that they're already sending players down to the bullpen to warm up. So he's got to get out. He cannot give up any more runs here. And that's outside for ball 3. Otherwise, he is going to he's not going to make it to the second. Now, that's not entirely a bad thing for Martin County, because if Viera goes on to win, they'd have him for game 3. Strike 1, that's a gift strike right there, because that's shin high, but 3 balls and 1 strike. Balin Jesuit on top of Merritt Island, 2-0 down in Miami. Bottom of the 5th there. Mustangs with 6 outs left. Fowler will look at strike 2. Brennan Confreda is on deck. The 3-2 First by Fowler. Nice job stepping out. First base is open, but I'm quite sure they don't want to put him there. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And that's a huge strikeout for Cody Bennon. And Fowler goes down, and that is out number 2 as Brennan Confreda steps in. Confreda with an outstanding job last night on the bump for Viera. He certainly did what he could do to give them a chance to win the ball game last night. First pitch offering to Confreda inside. Now, Bennon has thrown 28 pitches thus far in the inning. Two and 0. The ninth batter in the order on deck in Trey Slavic. Carter Lee at second, Dom Leone at third. The 2-0. Good job by Brennan to be ready. Confreda, 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 runs, 4 hits for Viera in the bottom half of the first inning here. Another beautiful night for baseball on the Space Coast. We have a launch tonight?
I didn't get the text. So.
Okay. The 2-1. And Confreda swings over it. And now we are deuces. Wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs as the home plate umpire screams 2-2. The 2-2 popped up and out of play. Martin County has traveled well, and I want to say hello to the Cucarillos who came up and met us before the game. Great people. I want to thank them for their kind words. 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Bennon bounces back, but not before. The Viera Hawks scored 3 runs on 4 hits. The big blow in the inning. The freshman, Carter Lee, with a double over the right fielder's head. We go to the top of the second. Viera 3, Martin County nothing. All right, welcome back here. Blaine Werkheiser on for his second inning of work as he'll face John Thornton, Tanner Paskowski, and Michael Sanchez. Werkheiser's first pitch offering is smacked into right field for a leadoff base hit, and Thornton wasted no time on that one. And Tanner Paskowski will now step in, and yeah, you just get the feeling it's going to be one of these games tonight. Werkheiser with just 11 or 10 pitches, I should say, in the first inning. As Paskowski steps in, a fellow Ski. Paskowski last night struck out, grounded out, walked, and singled. These teams will run. Martin County stole 4 bases last night. Gives them 80 on the year. Oh, that's a nice bunt. That is a really nice sacrifice bunt. Confreda does a real good job of making sure that ball didn't hit the runner in the back. And the sacrifice bunt sends Thornton down the second. And that's going to be 1 out with Michael Sanchez stepping in. Sanchez was the pitcher last night. Started the game. Went deep. He did not bat last night. He is batting tonight. And Sanchez looks at a ball. Frankie Leone on deck. Sanchez this season a .278 hitter for Martin County, and that one fouled back. And the masses, you're going to have to show these kids in a little bit because they are working. I mean, they are like worker bees on those fly balls, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at him. He could. I mean, that's the prize, and that is a base knock. And we missed a stolen base, too. So that is a nice piece of hitting by Sanchez. And over to third. Did he steal the base or was he just holding up? I'm not sure. No, he was. Let me look at the replay. Oh, he was sacrificed, Alan. Read your scorebook, knucklehead. So now first and third with 1 out. And he's showing bunt here. And I tell you what, it shook Lane a little bit. And he backs off. Frankie wouldn't be shocked to see the safety squeeze here. And nice pitch. Hit the corner. 0-1. If he was going to bunt, that was the pitch there. Fowler in on or near the grass. Confreda holding the runner at first. Second base straight up. Shortstop in the hole to the right. There is a gap between third and short, which there should be with a left-hander up. The outfield about halfway. Brancaleone shows bunt, pulls back, and gets the ball call. 1-1. Runners at the corner with just 1 out. One and two now. The bunt is off. Just when you thought it could be. When that happens, you do this. Okay? You center it up. We got runners at the corner. Show it like that. Outside, 2-2. Werkheiser, runner off at first, and Brancaleone fouls it off. Back out of play. Stone Preston, the center fielder, is on deck.
You want to talk about a night he had last night?
Boy, did he ever. More defensively than anything. Pitch inside. And it's full. And Werkheiser with a big pitch on the way to Brancaleone because loading the bases here is not a good thing. Unless you're Martin County. And this ball is absolutely crushed, but right at Zach Alarashi. And that looks like, oh my goodness, did he get him? No. Great play at the plate, but a great throw by Alarashi. but Thornton scores on the tag up. Sack fly RBI by Sanchez, and it's 3-1. He hit it good, but just right at Zach Alarashi. The runner has to retreat. Sanchez has to retreat to first. As Stone Preston steps in, first pitch to Stone, and he swings right over the top. Wayne Lee says, "That's our boy from Grandma and Grandpa Lee." And this one fouled off and out of play, and Werkheiser is one strike away from minimizing. Yeah, there they go. Look at them, the train of them. Go, go, go. 0-2. Off and running. I'm not sure what the hesitation was there unless somebody had a shot at him there, but he hesitated up here. I don't know if it's because, well, it can't be because nobody was covering the bag. He just double pumped for some reason, and you know what? Sometimes young players do those things. So that's going to be a stolen base, but a runner is in scoring position. And this one is skied in the air. Vogel calling, and hauling for the third and final out. The shortstop makes the play. And Martin County gets one back on 2 hits. They strand one. We go to the bottom of the second. 3-1 Hawks. Well, we got a new pitcher, and, I don't know. I hope there's nothing wrong with Benning, but he has exited the game, and your new Martin County pitcher is Cooper Proctor, number 7, and Proctor this season. Pull you up his statistics and tell you all about Cooper. Proctor this year is 0-0 with a 1.62 ERA. This is his 10th appearance this season. Proctor, 17 and a third innings pitched, 13 hits, 7 runs, 4 of them earned, 9 walks, 9 strikeouts. Teams are batting just 186 against him this year, and he will face 9-1-2. That's Trey Slavic, Brody Vogel, and Aiden Cameron to start things off. So, new pitcher. And that's, again, I hope there's nothing wrong with Benning. He threw 33 pitches in the first inning, 22 for strikes, 1 inning pitch, 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, and he struck out 2 to end the inning. So I just hope it's not an injury replacement. And that is strike 1 from Proctor. I don't think this is such an unexpected change that the PA guys even picked up on it yet. Curveball, that thing floated up there like. Did you see that?
It almost looked like it went up and almost like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Slow up,
right,
and then drop immediately.
Wild looking little pitch there. There it is again. Oh my goodness gracious! That thing gives me butterflies in my stomach. It flutters so much. 1-2. from Proctor. You're going to need an at-bat to get used to seeing that thing. You know what that is? That's popped up. You know what that looks like to me? That looks like a knuckle curveball to me.
You know what?
That's almost what it looks like. And Slavic pops out to the catcher, and that'll bring up Brody Vogel, who grounded out last time up. And a good play it was by Frankie Brancaleone. But that looks like a knuckle curve he's throwing. I mean, I'd have to obviously see the grip on the baseball, but the way that thing flutters and moves. There it is.
It's wild.
Derek Sickler, Coach Sickler, says, "Let's go, fellas. Go Hawks." Coach Sickler, one of the best, man.
Yes, he is.
Retooling up that Hawk soccer program back to state championship form, I'm sure, next year. 2-0. Outside, 3-0. That's the problem. If you're going to throw a pitch like that, you're going to consistently throw it for strikes sometimes, and you're going to consistently not throw it for strikes sometimes. It's a patience pitch. If that's what it is, and that's exactly what it looks like to me. Swing and a miss. Mike Musina used to throw a knuckle curve that was just filthy. Three and 1 to Vogel, who looking to snap an 0 for 4, 0 for 5 now, skid. And he'll pop this up. That is a tough play. That will drop and that's a nice, I'll tell you what, Will Perry covered more ground than Kutsu on that one to catch that ball. And that is 2 outs. Or fake Kutsu, because that's turf. There is such a thing.
I had to wait for your.
You don't even know what Kutsu is, do you?
I was waiting for you to ask, so then you could explain it to me.
Sorry, it's like a grass. Kutsu's like a grass. It's the best way to describe it.
I gotta believe you because I didn't know what it was.
You got a dictionary in your hand. It's called Google.
Currently, the dictionary is being
That's true. That's true.
So
1-0 here to Aiden Cameron, who started the party in the bottom of the first inning with an infield single. He would come around to score the first Hawk run. And I got a feeling Mr. Proctor is the type of pitcher. You heard his statistics: 9 walks, 9 hits. He's going to let the guys behind him do the work. The 2-1, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. And the second baseman, Sanchez, calls and hauls, and that will end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Proctor. On to the bottom or top of the third. 3-1 Viera. All right, Caleb has looked up kudzu during the break, and kudzu is an invasive plant species in the United States introduced from Asia with devastating environmental consequences. Figures. Figures.
Well, when you use the word invasive.
Right. I mean, anytime you see the word invasive, you're in trouble. Right? I mean, what are they going to say? Kudzu, a pleasant environmental plant introduced from Asia with pleasant consequences.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut there. For
Yeah, that's probably a good idea if we want to continue to broadcast. That would be a good one as we go to the top of the third inning. I know it's a new world and all, but it ain't that new.
Nope.
Here we go. And this will be Kamai Purse, who flied out to the left fielder his last time up. So I'm going to have to find something to use a little better than my analogy, I guess, than kudzu. If it's invasive, I don't want to cause any trouble. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Okay. 1-0 from Werkheiser. And this is popped up. I tell you what, these guys are mastering the pop-up tonight. And Confreda backhands it, both teams. And that is out number one. And Will Perry steps up. He flied out to Dominic Leone his last time up. And for those of you at home watching, this is what the 11th baseball game we've done in 7-8 days.
Yeah.
So, yep. Trying to find some other things to talk about sometimes. 3-1's the score. 1-3-0 for Martin County. 3-4-0 for Viera as Werkheiser gets strike one on Perry. And that will be strike two. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And he hits it out to Dom Leone again. Leone hauls it in again for out number 2. And Werkheiser rolling now. 3 in a row retired, and that'll bring up Zane Moody. Going back to last inning, Moody singled. No, yep, singled. Infield single his last time up. Let's check on.
Leone looks to be moving better than he did last.
Yeah,
night.
yeah. He oof. Bottom of the 6th, Mustangs still trailing 2-0 down at Balen Jesuit. Balen Jesuit 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Merritt Island no runs, 3 hits, 1 error. 0 and 2 to Moody. And Moody, guess what he does with it? Pops it up. Jay Fowler hauls it in for the third and final out. So let's see, we've had the last 6 batters, regardless of team, have all popped out. And we head to the bottom of the third inning. Hawks on top, 3-1. All right, Proctor back for his second inning of work. And he'll be set to face Brady Jensen, Zach Alarashi, and Dominic Leone. I want to thank Clip and Cut again. Clip and Cut is I tell you, I can't thank them enough that they know about kudzu.
Yeah.
Clipping cut. These aren't cheap, to sponsor, and we can't thank them enough.
I had the pleasure of going to school with Nick Hatfield.
Yeah.
Always been a great guy.
Of course, we watched Jackson Hatfield
Absolutely.
and his career at Viera.
Both from a football and wrestling standpoint.
Yeah. Great guy, funny guy.
Oh yeah. You want to laugh? Go just have a sit down with Jackson.
Have a talk with Jackson. Here we go, bottom of inning number 3, and it'll be, as I said, Brady Jensen, Zach Alarashi, and Dominic Leone. Jensen, his last time up, single, and scored. Or he didn't score. His pinch runner, Luca Bongiovi, scored, but good crowd on hand tonight. Last night, final attendance figure was 7,360, and there's a second base hit for Jensen. So, we have 7,360 last night, probably a little more than that tonight. Be careful, man. You're going to get people at home car sickness. Keep knocking into that camera. And Zach Alarashi steps up. Alarashi was part of the singles brigade last inning where Viera hit 3 singles. And then Carter Lee smashed a double, sandwiched in with a Dominic Leone being hit by a pitch. Outside, ball 1. And that's Mishak out there running for Jensen. So Viera will steal. They came into this series with 72 stolen bases. Alarashi will look at ball 2. Good eye by Zach. That is a juicy pitch floating up there like that as a left-handed hitter. Proctor fires over to first. Back in plenty of time was Mishak. 2-0 to Zach Alarashi. And there goes Mishak. Moody's throw. That base stolen on Proctor. Nice job by Mishak to grab the bag. And now a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Two and one to Zach Alarashi. What I can report is that there is no injury. So to the starting pitcher for Martin County. And there's a base hit, and that ball may go to the wall, and Mishak will score easy. Zach Alarashi will stop at second with a stand-up double. And the Hawks get the run back and take a 4-1 lead on a gap double by Alarashi. He's 2 for 2. And Dominic Leone will step in. Leone was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. I'll tell you what Zach did on that pitch right there, Caleb, after this pitch here, because that's a great piece of hitting by Zach. Because the tendency on something that floats up there like that is to want to just kill it. And that's why you saw 3 guys pop out on him last inning. So Alarashi, instead of trying to pull that pitch, he went the other way with it and went middle, as he told us he's been doing for the second half of the season, and it results in a double to the wall. and an RBI. 1-0. Leone just missed it as Paskowski hauls it in for the out. And this will bring up Carter Lee, who hit a double over the right fielder's head last time up. Lee's not very big, and he's a freshman, so you don't know much about him, right? So you notice that the left fielder the last time up, his positioning was shallow. Take note where he's at now.
Hold on. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of show him.
Yeah.
You may not be able to see him in the camera. That's how deep he's playing.
Yeah.
And that's probably a pretty good idea. And Lee takes it to center field, but Stone Preston is over that. Alarashi, a base running error. That's just not good base running. And Zach Alarashi runs him out of the inning. And that'll be a double play. We'll be back to fill you in. But the Hawks do pick up a run on the Alarashi double. Mishak scores 4-1. Welcome back here as Blaine Werkheiser returns for his fourth inning of work. And we were just discussing, Viera made that base running error last night. They made it again tonight. Now, look, they have a 4-1 lead, so it may not come back to haunt them. But these are things that, as you go a little deeper into these regional rounds, they hurt. And I'm not picking on Zach because last night it was a different player. But you just have to be aware. And Werkheiser's first pitch is a beaut for strike one. Strike two. Balin Jesuit has defeated Merritt Island 2-0 as the Mustang season has come to an end. And that is a beautiful looking pitch there for strike three and one out. But the Mustang season has come to an end, and a good run it was for Jason Arnold's team. And I tell you what, they weren't even supposed to be there. It was a team that had two players that had ever played varsity baseball on it to start the season, and that is fouled back. Nearly had it. But listen, they have nothing to hang their heads about. Swing and a miss, 0-2. That's 5 straight strikes for Blaine Werkheiser. So congratulations. Listening from Cincinnati, Ohio, Brian Morlock. Let's go Hawks. And that is a strikeout. The second straight strikeout. And 2 outs. Tanner Paskowski steps in. And Werkheiser in a rhythm now. Cincinnati, Ohio. Great city. I lived there for 2 years, or a little over, almost 2 years. Swing and a miss. Back in my youth, Caleb, way back in my youth, managed a sporting goods store down on Vine Street in Cincinnati.
I was going to ask if that was a.
Yeah, that was called Sporting Foot and Things, and we changed it over to a foot action, and that's another strike, 1-2. But I thoroughly enjoyed living in Cincinnati in the early 90s. Going to Reds games. Store closed every day at 6. Oh, it was fun. Swing and a miss. Grayton Hall up there I used to live near called Northgate, I think it was called. 1-2 is the count. Pitch, swing and a miss, and Werkheiser has struck out the side as we go. I'll tell you, he's pumped up about that as we go to the bottom of the fourth. 4-1, Viera on top. All right, welcome back. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I want to say hello to Pat Garcia watching from South Texas. South Texas. People watching from all over. Welcome to BSN, and we couldn't be more grateful to have all of you with us tonight for Game 2 here in the 6A-2 regional semifinals between the second-seeded Viera Hawks and the third-seeded Martin County Tigers. Jay Fowler steps in against Proctor. He struck out looking the first time up, and he'll take a look at strike one there. So far, through this game, Blaine Werkheiser in 4 innings pitched, 45 pitches thrown. Fowler shows bunt, and Proctor off the mound won't get Fowler. And he bobbled that, but I'm going to give Fowler a hit on the bunt. Big guy like Fowler bunting, I'm going to give him the hit.
Yeah.
Pitcher dropped the ball, but so Fowler reaches on a bunt. That'll bring up Brennan Confreda with nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. The Hawks on top 4-1. A win forces Game 3 down in Martin County on Saturday night. Confreda with another bunt, and this is across the diamond. Great sacrifice by Brennan, and a good play by third baseman Frankie Brancaglione, and that'll get Confreda on the sacrifice. Down to second base goes Fowler, and that'll bring up Trey Slavic.
I love the back-to-back bunts here.
Yeah, it's got a little softball feel to it. Speaking of softball, 4 district championships. That's good strategy. 4 district championships in Brevard County tonight to be decided. And, of course, you can check Brevard Sports Network later tonight for updates on those. 4-1 here. Curveball is, oh, what a stop. He may not get him, but I will tell you what he just did. He did prevent a run. That's just a great play. That's a good piece of hitting. Let's give Trey Slavic credit for the hit. But Kamai Purse, that holds because that ball was not drilled. So it's likely Fowler could score on that because it wasn't that hard hit. Tanner Paskowski and Stone Preston with arms, though, but that's a good play by Purse. But the Hawks, nonetheless, have runners at the corners, first and third with top of the order up, and this is exactly what you want. 7-8-9 doing the job. Brody Vogel steps in with one out, and he is hit. And Vogel will take his base, and now bases are loaded with one out. And Aiden Cameron steps in. And here comes the skipper. See what he does here. Bullpen doors open. I think he's telling his guys, I think he's telling his pitcher, Proctor, man, look, you see all these plays these guys are making behind you? Just throw the ball over the plate and let them keep doing it. They're an outstanding defensive team. And the skipper is Brett Hawkins. Last night I kept calling him Nick Burrow. My apologies to Coach Hawkins. 9 years in Martin County, Coach Hawkins. And Proctor's going to keep the baseball. And Coach is telling his catcher, Zane Moody, look, man, set up. Give him a good target to hit. Do not put this ball in this man's wheelhouse because Aiden Cameron can jack it over the wall. Everywhere you look is a Hawk. Fowler at third. Aiden Cameron at the plate. Cameron tonight, he's 1 for 2. Popped up his last time at the plate. And that too far inside. Good job by Moody to try to frame it, but just too far in. 1-0. Proctor wants another sign. You see him. He gets it. Let's see what it is. A nice pitch. 1-1. So Proctor gets the W on that pitch. The 1-1 on its way is 2-1. Fowler at third, Slavic at second, Vogel at first. Outside, 3-1, no place to put 16. Big pitch coming here. Three balls and one strike. Proctor sets, kicks, and fires. And that's a ground ball. It's going to get through one run. This should score the second run. Here comes. That's actually Luca Bongiovi. And two more Hawk runs cross the plate on a base hit by Aiden Cameron on a 3-1 count. Luca Bongiovi running, and he scores. And so does Jay Fowler, and it's 6-1 with Brady Jensen coming to the plate. And now runners at second and third as Cameron takes second on the throw, and that's going to do it for Proctor. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Clip and Cut. We'll be right back here on Brevard Sports Network to tell you all about the new Tiger Hurler. Ryan Baum, the new Tiger Hurler tonight, and Baum on the season. I don't know where Coach is here. We're gonna look at his numbers, and once we look at his numbers, we'll we're gonna find out what the mindset is here moving forward. So Baum this season 1-0. This is his 8th appearance. Okay, with a 2.76 ERA is Baum. 12 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 7 runs, 5 of them earned. He's walked 13, struck out 7, and teams are batting 125 against him. So yeah, the thing here is I don't know. I mean, you got a guy that's walked more than you struck out, and I think right now what Viera is doing is a master class in making Martin County pay for certain mistakes they're making in walks and things like that. So same way last night, Martin County executed the fundamentals of the game and stealing bases and fielding and things of that nature. Tonight, Viera has taken taking advantage of every opportunity that Martin County has presented them, and this is an opportunity here. 6-1 in the bottom of the 4th. The Hawks well in control. 5 runs isn't breaking it open. Well, they can certainly do it here with Brady Jensen at the plate. Proctor tonight went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 of them earned. He didn't strike out anybody. So, and again, in case you're just joining us, Merritt Island falls to Balen Jesuit 2-0 in another hard-fought game tonight by the Mustangs. But their season is over. So Merritt Island, so it will be the 6th seed, Balen Jesuit, going up against American Heritage.
Whew.
And Jensen cracks this one, and absolutely great catch out there, and the run will tag. Brody Vogel makes it 7-1. Stone Preston, no shot to get Vogel. Vogel's too fast, and that is out number 2. I'll tell you what, I don't know too many center fielders that would have caught that ball. I think Dom would have got to it because he's got speed, but my goodness, that's like 4.4 speed getting to that ball. Zach Alarashi is up. Zach with a big hit his last time up, a double. I want to say hello to Deborah Quigley, who says, "Go Tigers," watching from North Hutchison Island. Welcome, Miss Deborah. So, I guess, listen, my prediction for this series from the outset, it was going 3. With as evenly matched as these two teams were coming in, I definitely saw 3 games in this series. I said this thing isn't over yet by a long shot, but it's getting time to where the opera singer's coming to the stage. If Martin County does not start putting some runs on the board. 7-1. And that is ball 1. 3rd pitcher of the night used by the Tigers. Dom Leone on deck, runner at 2nd. 2 outs here, bottom of the 4th. And that is ball 2 to Zach. 3 in the 1st. None in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, now 3 here in the 4th. 7 runs on 9 hits for Viera. The 2-0 on its way is a hard chopper foul off the side of the media area down there. It's where I used to stand when the Nationals played here, right down there. See that?
Yeah.
Right down there is where they'd let us stand when the Nats were playing. Upstairs. Spring training is just a weird time. One of the things I always found strange about spring training was, well, you go into a sports locker room at any point in time, 3-1 pitch coming to Alarashi, and this just always used to, I don't know, freak me out. I'll finish the story here in a second. Pitch inside. So you go, especially spring training in a stadium like this, is Alarashi draws a walk. So after the workouts and all, you go into the locker room, and right down the middle of the locker room is huge cold cut spread. He's like cold cuts, salads, things of that
Just
nature.
easy finger stuff.
Right. Stuff the guys can just, and even the media, they would let the media eat as well. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it in a locker room filled with guys that were not clothed.
Uh-huh.
You understand what I'm saying? So I just could not eat in that environment. Pitch. So I would leave and head down to the local Subway, and even then it was hard.
Well, yeah, because in your nostrils you're trying to get out the combination smell of body, but also the sprays.
Yeah, I always thought, isn't there another room you could put this thing in? I just thought it was strange. I never saw it in any other locker room but here. 1-1. Never, they don't do that in NFL locker rooms, NHL locker rooms. But for some reason, it was both locker room and buffet.
the locker room buffet.
Locker room buffet. 2-1 to Dominic Leone. First and second, 2 outs. And how a story of a foul ball off the side of the media pad down there leads to that story can only be told in a 7-1 game. That's when you know you got a run differential. The 3-1 on its way to Dom. And Leone with a shot. That's a base hit because that thing was blistered around third, and on his way to score is Aiden Cameron. And Dominic Leone hit that thing about as hard as you can hit a baseball. And the Hawks put the 8th run on the board, 4th run in this inning, and they have a 7-run lead. As Aiden Cameron will score, and this will bring up Carter Lee, who want to talk about really getting this thing started. It was Lee with the 2-run double back in the first inning. Jay Fowler on deck, still 2 outs here. And I got to think that regardless of what happens from this point on, Baum is going to be the innings eater. And that one, a Luke Nanouche pitch to the backstop. And down to second and third go the base runners. That one slips. Leone to second, Alarashi to third. Good thing the Hawk mascot wasn't standing there. The 1-0. Upstairs, 2-0. I mean, if Viera plates these 2 runs, it's 10-1. And if you're Martin County, do you really mind if it goes 10 runs? You get, it's a long drive back. Pitch upstairs, 3-0. I mean, you never want to be 10 run. You want to come back. You know what I'm saying? That's a strike, and Lee knew it. 3-1 to the freshman.
But given the circumstances, you take it, you go home, sleep in your bed,
right?
And get ready
you get
for
up.
game 3.
Well, yeah, game 3 is you get a day off tomorrow, rest up, wash this thing out of your memory. Hard ground ball, that's going to get through and score 2 more. Leone is going to stop. That's a good call by Gift to stop Dom. Now, any other time, Leone's going to score. Not sure why he's not being pinch run for. But Dom at third now. And I'm sure it's probably because Dom doesn't want to be pinch run for, knowing Dom. So it's 9-1 as Carter Lee offers up his second hit and third RBI of the night. And the man that got the party started in this inning with a bunt single is up. Well, I guess Baum isn't going to be the innings eater here. Yeah. That's right. That's right. You ever ask yourself how you can make? I'm going to steal the PA guy's thing here. You ever ask yourself how you can make your lawn look this pretty and green at home? Well, aside from installing turf yourself, give Clip and Cut a call. The information is on the bottom of the screen. All right, 9-1 here, and I would imagine that they're going to try to put this runner Carter Lee in scoring position here by getting him to second base as Fowler steps up. Baum's going to stay in. First pitch is high and tight for ball one. Leone at third. Lee at first. That is way outside, 2-0. So the pitching not on par tonight for Martin County. They came in at 21-8 this season. And there goes Lee. And he's going to take the shot. And I listen, that's a good job by Moody because he knows Dom's not going to try and steal home. So Moody took a shot at trying to throw Lee out, but the freshman's got a little speed. And he gets in safely with a stolen base. And now a base hit by Jay Fowler and 3 outs in the top half of the fifth inning would end this baseball game. Fowler will take strike one. 3-1. Brendan Confreda on deck for the second time in this inning, and that's ball 4. And Brendan Confreda comes to the plate. Confreda with a sac bunt his last time up, and first time using the new scorebook tonight. And, yeah, we're already scratching out here as we move the innings over. So Fowler will walk, and Confreda, first pitch, outside, ball 1. Yeah, I'm not swinging until he throws me a strike. Bases juice, 2 outs, 5 runs in here, and Viera comfortably ahead. And as it stands right now, looking in control of forcing a game 3. Baum's pitch is a curveball in for a strike, 1-1. Parker, what's up, my friend? I'm going to say hello to Nicole Poudrier again, watching from the friendly confines in Brevard County. If I had to guess, I'd say Wickham Forest.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, probably. 2-1, 2 outs. The pitch. Confreda looks at 3-1 high. I'll tell you what, if I'm Confreda, that's tough to take right there. Up 8, chest high fastball. That's good plate discipline. That's why I'm up here. 3-1. And that's ball 4. And it's 10-1. And the Hawks are a run away from putting themselves 10-run deficit between them and Martin County. We are going to get a new pitcher because we have to get a new pitcher. This is the third visit to the mound this inning. We'll be back with the clip and cut call to the bullpen here on Brevard Sports Network. Yeah. All right, welcome back. And the clip and cut call to the bullpen has been made. And the clip and cut call to the bullpen brings us Bryson Arnoff, a junior pitcher. And Bryson this season, we give their statistics. Bryson this season, this is his 8th appearance. He's 1-1 with a 4.20 ERA. And Arnoff has 6 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. He's walked 6 and struck out 7. Opponents are batting .222 against him, and he will see a new hitter at the dish in Luca Bongiovi. And that's right, if you're joining us for the first time ever tonight on a broadcast, the young man's last name is Bongiovi. So here he comes to try to give Arnoff a bad name. Sorry, I couldn't resist, man. I just could not resist.
Don't worry, I have one if he bunts.
Okay. I don't think he's bunting, so save it. Luca Bongiovi steps in. Arnoff's first pitch to Luca is low and away for a ball. 1-0. Everywhere you look is a hawk. Luca is batting for Trey Slavic. And that is 2-0. So, yeah, I mean, new pitcher, you just make him. Dennis Cucurilla says, put Joe in. Yeah, put Joe in. Put in Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Cucurilla.
Yes.
Pitch. And hard ground ball down the third baseline. Bongiovi, 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, I got to meet Joe's parents, so I want to see Joe pitch.
Yes.
2-1. 3-1. So now he's got to throw 2 strikes before 1 ball, or this is a 10-run game. And that would bring Martin County down to their final 3 outs in the top of the 5th. The 3-1 on its way is in the dirt, and it's 11-1. As Carter Lee crosses the plate, and that'll bring back up the top of the order Brody Vogel. The 7th run of the inning has crossed the dish, and this is just one of those games where you just throw this thing out the door if you're Martin County. If you're Viera, you have bounced back formidably. And there's a chopper. And Coach Gifford says, I got this, and makes not quite a web gem, but we'll give him a dead. So it looks like this thing's going to a 3rd and final game. That'll be Saturday night in Martin County. No, we are not making the trip. Sorry. A lot going on. And that ball is hit into center field. Stone Preston tracks, calls, and hauls, but not before. The Viera Hawks score 7 runs. They pick up 5 hits and a plethora of walks. We go to the top of the 5th. If the Hawks can get 3, it'll be over. Back in a moment. Hey, Brad, what's going on, buddy? Hey, Alan, Brad here. Recognize. Oh, there you go. Dan and Carrie Cucurilla are his name. Yes, it is a small world. Yes, it is. I hope all is well, Brad. As we head to the top of the fifth, Blaine Werkheiser looking to finish off Martin County tonight and get them down about 2 hours south for Saturday night. 3 outs will do that. As Michael Sanchez steps in, first pitch, and that is outside. Werkheiser's just got to throw strikes here. I mean, if they hit it, let them hit it. Let your guys field it. And there's a ground ball. Vogel, nice scoop over to first. And Brennan Confreda with authority on the scoop. And that is 1 out. Frankie Brancaleone steps in. Brancaleone with a sacrifice RBI his last time up. That's the only run of the game for Martin County. Brancaleone's first pitch is outside from Werkheiser. Blaine needed this tonight. He needed this. Viera needed this tonight.
Yeah.
You know, Martin County, it's a win-win. Martin County comes up here and they get a split, okay? So they get the split. And that's really, obviously you want to sweep, right? But 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen between the 2 and the 3 seed. Martin County, they get the split, and then they get the third game at home. So, look, there's no perfect world in which these 3-game series could be played. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, well, why does the lower seed get the third game? Well, I don't know. I don't care. It is what it is, and that's strike 3, and Martin County's down to their final out tonight. The point is this. You could do it like the American League wild card where all 3, or the MLB wild card, I should say, where all 3 games are at that stadium. I understand that. But, I mean, these kids have to get a home game. They're not a wild card. They're a 3 seed. And that's fouled back to the screen. So, this is the way to do it. If you're the home team, take care of business in the first 2 games. If not, then you've earned the right to host a game in that third game. That's how I see it. Curveball. And, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's not like it's Major League Baseball, and I'm not taking anything away from these kids, but home field advantage in high school baseball, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not really like it is in the upper levels. Friday night at LSU and Clemson, right, in college baseball, that's a home field advantage.
Yes.
1 and 2, final strike here. Possibly. Werkheiser got him. And the Viera Hawks have won the baseball game and even the series as they get the 11-1 win. And that will do it. Blaine Werkheiser with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts tonight. And Viera evens the series at a game apiece. And they'll move on to Martin County Saturday night, where the Tigers will host the Hawks, 7 o'clock. All right, that'll wrap it up from here. We want to thank Clip and Cut, and we'll keep you posted Saturday night with what's going on down in Martin County. Once again, your final score in 5 innings. Viera bounces back in a big way, and I want to thank all of you from around the country, Martin County, and, of course, right here in my very own backyard of Brevard County for watching. One more time, Viera ties the series, forces a winner-take-all Game 3.